now the final topics of our sequence. The last one that we would have with Pat Woodson has been postponed. So welcome everybody here, and my name's Prudence Gill. And it's been really wonderful to put together this program and to be able to hear what everybody's had to say. It's been quite thrilling. And tonight we have Kathy Keith, and she will be doing Outside Oneself Volunteering as the new beginning. And she will get started in a second. She will also introduce us to a very special guest we have. And in the meantime, please feel free to, have food, be relaxed, get drinks as we go along. We're getting started. So, and I want to say special thanks for everything that Roxy has done here at the community center. She's been fabulous in setting us up with food and getting the special changes to the room done for each speaker, and that has been just really great. The staff has been fabulous.
Yeah.
And special thanks to the Active Seniors Club also for their support and sponsorship, as well as the community center. So.
Well, praise God, I was asked to speak about the work that I and my husband, before he passed, do in Haiti. And to make sure I get all my facts correct, I begged, pleaded, bribed. He was supposed to go to another program, so I arranged for him to get a DVD and CD of the program he was supposed to go to tonight, so he could come to be with me to make sure. Because when you have questions, I may not have all the answers. At any rate, to begin with, my husband, Ed, which many of you would remember, Ed had started going to Haiti, and I didn't go at the time because I was still working. And I said, why do you want to go to Haiti? You speak Spanish. But he loved Haiti. Ed loved Haiti. After the earthquake, Grace was given 6 acres at Lombe, not so far away, and with teams that came down from all over the country, and also the people that were getting the homes. 56 homes were built for the people that were living in tents. At the time of the earthquake, and for a couple of years after, we had over 20,000 people living on the Grace property in Carrefour. You can go to the next slide. You see where it says Port-au-Prince? We're just to the left of Port-au-Prince, Carrefour. Kind of located. Okay. This is Bishop Joel June and Pastor Doris June, and Johnny is their son. They have another son, Michael, and then actually 2 other sons in other parts of the world. Bishop Joel June, his father was a minister in the mountains, and I'm going to tell the story because the prophecy made over Bishop Joel June as a child was his father said the Lord told him that he would be a great man to bring Haiti back to God. And I've seen this. And when he was 3 years old, he died, and his father was up in the mountains traveling, and he didn't get back for 3 days, so they were already on their way to bury him in the casket, because 3 days you got to bury. And his father said, no, this can't be. Lord, this is what you told me. My son would be a great man to bring Haiti back to God. And he just would not let that go. And Bishop June coughed. 3 days dead, he coughed. Praise God. He coughed. He came back to life. He came back to life. Yeah. So that's because the Lord did say, and I have seen it, a great man to bring Haiti back to God. He married what we call her Sister Doris. It's just a way you talk in Haiti. But Sister Doris pretty much runs it was 2 orphanages, and then this past year became 3 orphanages when they added Sunshine Home. And I got an email yesterday that it's now 4 orphanages. Quad Bouquet has been added. And I know it's because your mother has such a soft spot. As many of you participated in the 100 Dresses for Haiti. You remember all the dresses we sold? Well, you remember me talking about when we brought dresses to Quad Bouquet, you could see the children were really hungry. They wanted food more than the clothing. And praise God, food came before we left. But I know that your mom really, from the meager supplies that they have, supplies Quad Bouquet. So I guess they just decided after the woman died who was running it, their children were trying to run it, and I think that they were having a lot of problems doing that. Onward, thank you. This is Ed and I. That's Ed. That's Ed. Praise God. And after he passed in 2012, I kind of tried to take up his mantle, not nearly as good, I'm sure. But and not only are we volunteers, we were on the board for Grace International, and I'm very proud of that because I want you to know, you'll see on the literature, they have a gold star rating from GuideStar, a charity navigator, a charity rating organization, and that's because everything that you give to Grace, you know that the money goes where you say it should go. They operate on a very low and restricted overhead. Anyway, onward. These are just onward. These are just taken at the Christmas parties. One of the big things we do is gather. Ed was the official photographer. This is an old picture. Johnny, you probably remember this, huh? This is really old. The boys at the boys' home are standing really in front of the girls' home, probably because there's no greenery over at the boys' home. It's more concrete. And I see a lot of boys that I recognize, and they're adults now. So it's been a while. And look how young Bishop and Sister Doris are. After the earthquake, we had the tent city, and that was quite a challenge. Johnny was heavily involved in that. He and Michael, my goodness. But praise God, I will tell you that when it got close to being 3 years, some of the other places where people had tents on the land of organizations, they told the people to leave because in Haiti you lose your ground after, I think it's 3 years. But Bishop didn't want to do that. He absolutely he just did not want to do that. But the people were very upset, and they thought he was going to, but no, he never did. So they did react and have some problems, but because they thought he was going to, but that was not his way. Although we told him, well, you might have to, but he didn't. This is after the earthquake, the Lord's Kitchen feeding the hungry in the tent city that was on our property. We were given, I think you heard me say, y'all, like 6 acres in this area called Lombi, not too far from the Grace Village. And people came in groups from all over the country to help out. And this Adat Shalom, these are the volunteers that built some houses, one of the groups. And then the next slide. And this is when they came back in, let's see, 2011. And they were able to see the people now living in the houses that they had helped build. And it was kind of a joyous time. I remember that the rabbi from this particular congregation, I heard him in a speech talking about why he chose to help a Christian, really what would you call it? Fundamentalist or a serious Christian organization. And he said, evangelical. Thank you, Johnny. See, that's why I needed you. And he said, no, that's, they said, that's the people that get things done in Haiti. Which is really true. And this is more of the building at Lombi. Susie went down for this, and she'll remember these pictures. They get very excited about the flags. And every day at 12, they had a celebration where they claimed Haiti for God, and this was with the flags, and it was very moving. This is another thing that obviously I'd like to interest somebody, maybe some, to come to Haiti and see what we have there. Susie came, and Susie did several programs with music, and she even was able to get do some in Creole. She could probably still do them. You see? And that was in the summer. That was in July. That wasn't too bad. We had a good time.
How I'm sweaty.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm always hot, but it was nonstop sweat.
And this is Cece, loving on Susie. And this is Pastor Olivia Moore, ministering to the young ladies at the Women's Conference. And this is our Susie teaching Magda. That Magda is one of my girls. She's been such a joy. She's doing well. She and her sister, a little bit older, Edeline. What happens, children quite often, when they see that they're a little bit slow or have problems or whatever, that's many times the children that go to an orphanage because the other families don't want them when their primary families have died. And Magda does suffer from some cognitive problems. She's been trying to graduate from high school and has not been able to yet. Edeline's a little bit more challenged, and but we have Edeline right now in a class that includes commercial sewing, and so she's learning a trade.
And I know, and a few people here do, but when you speak of them and say my children, you have to explain that.
I sponsor Magda and her sister Edeline, and Edeline has actually graduated and is now living with some of her extended family, but still going to school. You do have the opportunity to sponsor children, and especially since we've now added these 2 orphanages, $20 a month is a really good investment. But that's why I really encourage people to say, yes, I'd like to go down with you, Kathy. I'd like to go down to the women's conference in the summer. I'd like to go with you at the Christmas time to help with the parties, because that's when you really see all they do. And then you go down, you really see it. And thank you. And you're hooked. At the women's conference, they came, this is in July, they came from all over Haiti, up in the mountains and all, buses and yada yada. And they come to the church, and they sleep on the benches. That's where they stay. And it lasts about 3 or 4 days, and then they're going back. And this lady was just going back. And I just thought that was really sweet. And of course, we send them back with food in her hand. Now, this is the Christmas parties, a big deal. It's usually about the second week in December. And last year we served 9,000. This year, the year before, I think we served 12,000. It kind of depends on how much money we have to work with, but we buy toys, and nice toys for the children. We serve them a meal, and they get, as you can see, it's a really nice puppet show. So the children really, really enjoy that. That's Marlon, the master puppeteer. They all have a little badge on. We give each group badges with they put the child's name, they have X number of badges. That admits them. And of course, every party, the color changes. So they can't slip in to another party. You see mostly team members there, but the truth is now it's kind of gotten so it's mostly Haitians that are doing it. And the story is all in Haitian. And it's really funny when the donkey comes out with Mary and Joseph, and the donkey goes all through the crowds. And Mary's, oh, hurry, hurry, hurry. And the children just explode. Now they're getting their toys. And this is a big thing. As you can imagine, these are children from the poorest of the poor. And this is a toy that it's very likely they would not be getting a toy for Christmas. So this is a really big deal. And we do get nice toys. Praise God. And he's reading the literature. Uh-huh. She's like our poster child for happiness, I think. And the good dinner. Speaking of food, I need to warn you, we have pickles. Pickles is, we were trying to think of something traditional for Haitians. Johnny likes pickles. I like pickles, but they're really kind of hot. It's like a real hot coleslaw. And I've always kind of thought that the reason they eat it all the time is because, if you eat a really hot pepper with some food that might hurt you or be bad for you, the hot pepper kills it. So it's a kind of a way of keeping well. This party I really remember. Ed was still alive, and there were over 2,000 children at that party. But we didn't know how they managed to get over 2,000 children in there, but there were. And we only had 2,000 shoeboxes that we had been given by Samaritan's Purse. You remember that? And we knew there were only 2,000. And the volunteers and missionaries, they were all getting very upset. And what are we going to do? There's going to be children not get something. And Sister Doris said, it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. Every child got something. And I think there were 5 left over. And we had more than 2,000 children there. It was beautiful. This is from Words of Life Church with Bishop and Sister Doris. There's Pastor Stan Sr., Pastor Rick, and Pastor Stan Jr. They're all related. That's the father and 2 of his sons from Words of Life, and they're heavy supporters of the Christmas parties. There's Bishop, Sister Doris, passing out food. Now, Eric Labrador, you know him? Yeah, Eric and his wife Caroline have been down twice. They also sponsor some children. When Eric was there, he refurbished the swings for the girls' home. That's the back of the girls' home. And actually, I took that picture from the 2nd floor of the transitional home that's still not finished. But the children love the swing, and that was compliments of Eric. Now, this is one of Johnny's projects.
We have an empowerment program that we run in Haiti. And the reason why we call it an empowerment program because we understand that if you're just giving people stuff, it's not really, it might in a way disservice them. So it's good that, like they say, you teach me how to fish, and then I'll be able to soon enough take care of myself. So that's what the empowerment program is about. I'm a product of what Kathy was talking about, a sponsorship program. So when I was a little boy, a little lady from Ohio, I grew up in Haiti, and a little lady from Ohio said, I'm going to sponsor a child for him to finish school. And a little old lady sponsored me to go to school. And actually, when I was finished, 18, and I said, I would like to go to college, and she actually sponsored me to go to college, and I went to a place called Arkansas. Have you guys heard of that place? Okay, way out in the woods. But that's where I had the opportunity to go, and it was a real culture shock coming from Haiti to go to Arkansas. But anyway, through that program, it allowed me to be in a position to be able to work with families that are extremely poor, that really don't have the capacity to take care of themselves because they never had a trade, they never had a skill, they never had education. Most people in Haiti have no more than a 4th grade education. It's really, really, really low as far as literacy. So we run this program where it's a blessing. It helps many people because in Haiti there's about over 90% of the people are unemployed. So it's the opposite. It's unemployed. Now, it's not that they don't want to work. It's not that they can't work, but it's just that there's nobody no business person in their right mind would want to begin a company or a McDonald's or a KFC or a Taco Bell in Haiti because the infrastructure is so bad. So there's a lot of entrepreneurs. So if I go and get mangoes, or I can make sandals. So I'll be an entrepreneur, but I don't have a job. And me being an entrepreneur, I have to know how to run my business. I have to know how to market my sandals. I have to know how to sell it at a price point where I'm going to make a profit. And then when I do make the profit, what do I do with that profit? Do I go and buy more products, or do I go and buy more food with it? Those are decisions that we train these families on how to sustain themselves so that they don't have to have their hand out. We call this program is about teaching people not to have, or giving them a hand up as opposed to a handout. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Johnny. You see why I wanted him here. Johnny's also a contractor, and he's built some buildings in Miami. I forget the names of them. They're on Brickell.
Yeah. So this is before I retired. Okay. So I'm just gonna tell you this just a reference. I was also blessed. Because I got sponsored. I told my parents, I wanted to be an engineer. So since I wanted to build a small little boy, I wanted to be an engineer. And then they said the only college that you could afford was, or this lady helped us could afford, was in Arkansas. And so I got shipped to Arkansas, and I stayed there for 4 years. Thank God it was in Arkansas, because I was able to focus, because I couldn't do anything else, no partying. I studied engineering, and then I came to Miami as soon as I graduated in '92, and then I worked for a developer. And actually, when you're leaving the island and you're going to the mainland, if you look on your right-hand side, there's a big, colorful building called the Metropolitan. It's like one of the last buildings. Like as soon as you get on the Rickenbacker Causeway going toward the island, you'll see it's like peach, a greenish type, and a blue. So I was blessed to be the project engineer on that building. It's a 30-story building. So, oh yeah, and then so now I'm blessed. I'm like Kathy, where I am in full time. I'm working with people who are they're not as fortunate as we are, and it's a true blessing. It's it's a life changer for me. So,
And thank you for Johnny's wife.
so my wife also is blessed. She works here. She's been working on the island for she's also from Haiti. So since we were little kids, we were childhood lovers, and we friends. Friends. Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry. We got married after we finished college, and then she came to Miami, and then we moved. Her parents are Haitian, but her papers came, and then she ended up in New York as well. And then so anyway, we got married. So she came here. She studied culinary, and then she got blessed to have a job at the Ritz-Carlton. And so for over 15 years, maybe close to 15 years, she's been working there.
Thank you, Johnny. Wells, of course, are a very important thing. This well was donated. Having good well water is really important. And, of course, that was one of the big reasons why after the earthquake people came into Grace, because they knew that Grace had 2 functioning good wells. And the funny thing about it is water, by the way. People sometimes are afraid, oh, my goodness, I can't go there because the water is so dangerous. You can drink the water. The girls at the orphanage, they drink it. I brush my teeth and do so. And I will use. They give you bottled water. They don't they don't play. But I would tell you, I mean, the girls all drink the water out of the tap, and no one has a problem. And I've never had a problem there. Also because I think the cooks are so good.
I've never been out of the country, so that was one of my concerns, the water, food, all of those things, but I wasn't affected.
When people go to other countries, they're not used to the bacteria there, because I've had people say that they were from Venezuela, but when they go back and live here a long time, they have to get used to the bacteria that's a part of everything there, and the people build up resistance to it after a while when they live there all the time, perhaps, to some degree. So that might be part of it too.
But I would just tell you, as long as you only eat in the compound, what you're given there, you're fine. But now, this is the fun part, you see. There's so many things you can do with the children. Of course, I love the girls' home. So we're making cupcakes, and then I show them how to decorate them, These are things you could do if you go down there. Onward. Girls going to school. School is not free. And so we do pay for all of our children to go, and we also get sponsors for children in the neighborhood to be able to go to school, because school is so important. That is the transitional home. Still not finished, praise God. We're calling it finished soon. Do you understand what a transitional home is for? Maybe not. When you reach 18, technically, you're supposed to leave the orphanage. Well, most of our, especially the girls, and this is a girls' transitional home, the girls are not ready to leave. Many of our girls are in college or other technical training. After 18, they're still in school. So
They started late too.
yeah, that's true. They don't even finish high school. I think Magda was like 21 before she finished high school, wasn't it? Because they start so late, because of they come into the orphanage late, right? Yeah. So you just can't put them out. I mean, and Sister Doris wouldn't. So the transitional home is so that they will have a place to live until they're ready to go out on their own, until they've finished their schooling and such. And that's why it's so important that we get it finished. And Johnny does a lot of pressing on getting people to come and do work on it. Okay, next. These are some of the girls that would be living in the girls' home. That's my Magda in the brown and white right in the middle. We had a young girl that we got medical care for, Francois. Well, she had some serious problems with both asthma and her eyes. And so the Lions Club gave us $1,000, and we took her to Baskin and Palmer, and that was wonderful. And it turns out that these problems are they weren't that difficult, but they just couldn't seem to solve them in Haiti. This is the girls praying for the completion. This was early on. You can see that they're looking at the sky there. There's another group, Christian Emergency Relief Team, who came and did work on the second floor transitional home. These are more of the girls came out. This was still early. Another thing that Grace has is a widow's home next to the boys' home, where they take care of widows who have no other way of support. It's a beautiful thing. And of course, we're always looking for skinny people sizes to send dresses to the widow's home, as Joan knows.
One of the things that one of the other programs that Grace does is, if any of you are in media or know anything about radio, this is one of the channels to get the word out or to educate people. So we have a radio station in Haiti now that it's online, and it's a challenge. We've learned that, especially in a crooked, corrupt government country where you have to almost pay yourself to just to get something done. So we do have a radio station, and we're running. It's both. It's French and English. So if we have the link on one of the things but if you go to graceinternational.org, you should find a link to the radio station. But anyway, right now because it's so costly, so Haitians have a difficult time to live in Haiti because everything is so costly. For example, you would think that if it's a poor country, then things might be subsidized, but no, nothing's subsidized. The gasoline is actually more expensive, and the average person is maybe making $3. So a person who's working full time is making $3 to $4 a day. That's their salary. So imagine if you're using $3 to $4 a day, you have to buy gasoline, you have to buy kerosene to light your house. So we came up with a program, a solar program. You guys know what solar programs are. So now it's small units that we can help distribute to families so that they can have regular lighting. This is just a solar panel that's on one of the buildings that's providing electricity to the radio station. But just in case you don't get to that, we do have a program where we're providing solar energy to poor families where they can get free energy from the sky, from the sun, and provide them their homes with electricity so that students can learn how to study better and get a fan and all that.
And the reason why this is so important is that having electric is not guaranteed. I think the whole time I was down there at Christmas, I don't think we ever had electric, did we?
Only 80% of the people do not have access to electricity, to the grid.
You either generate your own, which you have a generator, but of course it costs money to run a generator, so you have to be careful how you use it. But yeah, and then you have children in the evening want to study after school, And what are you going to do? So the solar panels are really quite the answer. On the radio station is an announcement by Susie Fisher. This is my Magda with a dress that she designed. And this is one of the fun things you can do when you're there. You know, they were teaching piano at the girls' home. And now, this particular team at the boys' home, they did so much. I think it was last year. They put in new toilets, refurbished tile showers, plumbing, painting, new mattresses with vinyl covers, pest control, and they gave them brigade uniforms, which is really good because it's kind of, they're very proud to be in the brigade. It's kind of like the Boy Scouts, and other clothing, and 6 new metal plates and cups, a real blessing. So they were very, Grace was so happy with that. And this is just the fun time you have. You go down there, you know, it's not all work, it's a lot of fun. Haitian go-karting. And more fun. This is the truck we go everywhere in. Generally, you get picked up at the airport in this. And I think they were getting ready to go up to the mountains after the Christmas, after Christmas in Carrefour to go up there, and they were taking the boys. Sister Doris. Susie teaching piano, yes. Now, this is a picture of Mama G and Sister Doris. This is the Sunshine Home. Mama G is now passed within this past year, and now we have a missionary, Ernestine, down there helping to run. It's wonderful because, you know, she's just doing so well, and she's really in her element. But so when Mama G passed, it was like, you know, oh my goodness, who's going to take care of Sunshine Home? So, of course, Grace did. Mama G was actually Sister Doris's mother. Sister Doris was raised in an orphanage, did not know who her mother was. She was raised in the orphanage Mama G worked in. But Mama G was told, you can't show any favoritism, you can't be, you know, extra nice to your daughter, you have to act like she's not your daughter. And I imagine it wasn't until whoever was in charge finally died that your mom finally found out. Is it about right? Well, she was about 12 or 13 when she finally found out who her real mother was. So obviously Mama G is very, very precious. And these are some of the 100 dresses for Haiti that the children loved. We had an opportunity to have some people from Haiti come here, and someone graciously donated their home so that all these ladies and myself, we all stayed over there. And Susie and I and the Key Biscayne Church sponsored and helped feed them and all. It's all the End Time Handmaidens, and they were on their way to their conference. I forget, up Ohio or someplace, Missouri. Now, the reason I say is President Martelli, I mean, it seems to me that I really kind of like, because President Martelli wanted to have the children have free school.
When this is, if you know, Haiti has had a lot of turmoil. We've had many coup d'etats, or presidents, people just taking over. And so we're now just getting into a flow of consistent political stability in the country. And Martelli was one of the presidents who said that he wanted to begin his term with the church praying for him so that he can succeed. And indeed, that was the case, where he spent his 5 years, and he did his term in peace, and everything is fine. No more Totomakud, right?
Praise God. And now Moise, his protege, thank you. So Moise wasn't expected to win, right? Because Moise was not one of the uppers, but he won because the people voted him in. So that was the all-night prayer service that they had for President Martelli. I guess it was before his inauguration, and Bishop was there leading it. This is a book that was written, sneezed in my casket. written by, well, it's by Dr. Joel June with Marlon Magala's help. And it just tells his story about all the things that happened. There's an interesting story in here about the voodoo tree. The voodoo tree. There was a voodoo tree in Haiti. And people came from all over the world to come to that voodoo tree to worship with voodoo. Bishop decided to go and have a prayer service at that voodoo tree. And he, with his congregants, they went, and Bishop cursed the tree, and it died. And they put him in jail because this was an economic thing for Haiti, and he had destroyed this economic thing for Haiti.
What year was it?
Well, he didn't stay in jail long because all the people came and said, "You can't do this." So they did bring him out of jail, but he has guts. Well, I don't know. Did they? They didn't. Praise God. Afraid to.
So it was basically, and just so people can understand, voodoo isn't the worship of like Satan or anything. Voodoo is just an understanding of that there is a spirit world out there. So you understand it. So people just go there, as Kathy said, to find spiritual deep understanding. But of course, our belief is that if you're not on like the God side, then you're obviously on the bad side. That's what we believe. So and we also believe that these bad spirits are the ones that have bad influences on people. So those are the people that cause people to do bad things. And morally not living in a moral way, not that advanced. One of the things that we say is when you go to a church anywhere in the world, not just in Haiti, but you'll see often there'll be a school there, or you'll see a medical clinic as part of the church mission. But if you go to a voodoo temple or any other type of, you'll rarely, and actually in Haiti you won't see that at all. You won't see a school associated. So Christianity is very pro-education. It's very pro-development. That's just what it is. So we believe that anything is not pro-development is contrary to the development of Haiti. So that's in that way he said, you're no longer will you have a stronghold in this area. And so that's when he cursed it, and then it just fell over. It just died over.
Unfortunately, Kathy Clarick had some other things that she wasn't able to come tonight. At first, we thought she was going to be able to, but her schedule, she thought it was next week. Anyway, this is one of the best books. I have bought several copies and end up giving them away. Right now, Sister Doris has my last copy. But Kathy Clarick lives here in Key Biscayne, and she was in she was in Haiti for about 20 years or so, and she actually was a reporter for many major news organizations during that time, and she knew Aristide and wrote about him and a lot of the things that just went on in Haiti. She married a Haitian, and then she came back to live in the States, and as I say, she lives now in Key Biscayne. Her book is Madam Dread, because of the dreadlocks. Mountains Beyond Mountains, written by Tracy Kidder, is about Paul Farmer. Paul Farmer was a doctor who has done a lot in this world. I have the book on Audible, but it's just again an excellent book. He went to Haiti and promoted good things. He found better ways of handling resistant TB. They were not really handling resistant TB very well, and he found, because people, if you don't handle it, resistant TB, you're going to die. And so he found better ways of doing that, and then he actually started promoting the work. He was recognized. He also worked at Harvard, and his work went all over the world. He's still alive, as far as I know.
The organization that he started, and it's still very prominent in Haiti.
Big hospital in Haiti.
Yeah.
Kathy?
One of the best.
Kathy was talking about Partners in Health being one of the organizations that he did start.
They started with malaria, and they focused on that, and they were all over working on that, and it's still a very good organization.
Yes, very influential in Haiti right now. There's a lot of good.
And Tom Volini has, and I just recently got the picture, so I just stuck it on the end. He started a vegetable garden there on the land, and getting them to have a compost pile and tend the vegetables. And this is a wheelbarrow full of vegetables on its way over to the girls' home to be turned into dinners. That was just so nice. So that's the end of my talk. I'm leaving you with this is the latest newsletter, and I gave you a copy of the newsletter from the summer, and also my card if anyone's interested in maybe sponsorship or going with us. It would be a wonderful thing. And then when I was looking for things to bring, these are testimonies of people that have been on the missions. And this was something that Johnny wrote that I just thought was so touching. So I copied it, Johnny. You're an excellent writer. That is just beautiful. Yeah, it was a couple of years ago you wrote this.
Oh, no, they wrote it out.
No, it says you wrote it.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
Well, that's what it says.
And how many kids are living there in the whole compound? Yeah.
Question was how many people or how big is this compound? The compound has it's divided into two campuses. The first one has girls, and there's about 50 girls, 43 girls there. They have a staff, maybe about a dozen staff, maybe. They cook. And then they have the children divide into crews, and each week, so if I may be on the cooking crew, or next week I may be in the cleaning crew, or next week I may be helping the little smaller girls get ready for school. So they put everyone to work. And your other question, and the boys campus is about the same, except the boys they're less privileged because their facilities are really run down. And we're hopefully they'll be able to move soon. But the girls, it's a good example of what it takes, what it means to have people who want to sponsor like Kathy. And while I have the microphone, I will say how much of a blessing Kathy has been to Grace International. And she said that she has one of her girls, Magda, you saw in the picture. People would make fun of her and say, well, this girl is slow. She's not going to get anywhere. But ever since Kathy started getting involved and basically getting her as her daughter, Magda has developed into someone that is just like night and day. And I'll have personal experience with that. So I work with a lot of volunteers that come down to Haiti. And I said, and I saw her, how Kathy was developing her. And Magda, is playing the piano by herself. She's composing her own music. She's singing. I mean, there's someone who can't even look at you in the eye. I mean, she's like so shy, so reserved. So, and then now she's actually standing up on stage and singing her own song, and it's like just miraculous. I mean, it's just a miracle. And then one of the things I was so blessed to have her. I said, Magda. So I work with the Adat Shalom team who come from Ohio, Washington D.C. and they came down, and I said, okay, I'm gonna send you with 2 or 3 of these ladies from the States, and you're gonna go to the marketplace. I'm gonna give you the money, and and you're gonna go and buy the food for them. And Magda just took the bull by the horn, and she was negotiating, and she just a person who, like I said, she can't even look at you in the eye. That's so introvert and so behind, like just intellectually, she wasn't there, and she just blossomed into someone who just surpassed everyone, just because she had that extra attention, that extra love from someone who said, I don't know who you are, but I love you anyway, and I'm gonna show you I love you by coming to, Kathy goes a couple times a year, and just says, I'm gonna be your mom, and then just turns into something so much beautiful. So that's that. Thanks to Kathy.
Thank you. Thank you. I was so proud of her when you were telling me how she went to work for you, and that you were so impressed with how she would come early and be on time and do. You tell her what to do, and she did it the way you told her to do it.
Didn't understand. If I told her I talk very fast, and if I gave her a command, and she's like, "No, hold on. I want you to explain what you just told me, so I can do it right." And so she's very assertive in what she does.
And she speaks English. Praise God. One year when she wasn't in high school, we sent her to English school, and she had some really good teachers there.
I would like for you to summarize Grace's work there, because we talked primarily about the orphanages, but they have a lot of churches in Haiti as well, do they not?
270.
Yes.
He's a bishop.
All right.
Actually,
But the majority of the work to help people is primarily through the orphanages and educating them so that they can eventually find.
and they have schools, and they have a hospital and medical clinic.
A hospital medical clinic. And so the people eventually find a way to be self-sufficient and perhaps then contribute to other people as well. Johnny has come back, and hopefully there are other people like yourself who are doing the same thing, right, Johnny?
Very few, but
Very few.
Well,
we need more.
Right. But when they have the churches there, do they help people through the churches as well? If Grace has churches in Haiti, the congregation is there, do they help people through that church as well?
Hurricane Matthew came through. Grace was on top of it, particularly with their churches in Lakai and that area, getting help out to their churches in that area.
And
Yeah.
do they still do some of the helping through the churches?
Oh, have to.
Yes, the churches are I guess like it was in America, where the churches really were the center of the community. And that's how it is in Haiti. So the churches are the ones, when you plant a church in a location, then that's where people are able to get help. That's where people are able to have a sense of community. You don't have to necessarily be a church member or a Christian to enjoy the benefits of what the church brings to a village or to area.
Much broader than just the hospital.
Spiritual, yes, right. It's very social. It's a very social work. The church, the Grace International, what Grace International does.
And they also have the university where they teach sewing.
Yeah, so our empowerment program has, it really is empowering many different lives. Single mothers, young people, single fathers, families, family units, small children. It's very large. It has a large umbrella of people that it helps.
Yeah.
People in Haiti, do they trace their roots to some particular African tribe, or they come from different?
The people from Haiti trace their roots from West Africa.
Yoruba people, they're all Yoruba people, or
They just know from West because they're all kind of mixed. So when you'll see there's African Americans, there's Jamaicans, there's people from Trinidad, there's Brazilian. Everyone was just kind of mixed together, and they just got sent to, they stopped at different islands. We speak Creole, which is a broken down language of Spanish, of French, you might find some African, I mean, maybe, but it's really a broken down French language.
in Cuba they still speak Yoruba, In Cuba they speak.
Okay. Which is an African country, African language? Okay.
They still speak in Africa, of course, because Yoruba is a big tribe. But I was wondering if they still speak some.
No, not in Haiti. Not in Haiti. No, no. It's just Creole or French.
Group to go down there, and the big thing is for glasses, because many of the people, that's all they need is glasses. It's not a big ophthalmology situation. It's really just for glasses and to be able to read.
And as Kathy was saying, a lot of these sicknesses or diseases are really minor, but because they weren't handled when they were small, then they just grow into, just a small infection in the eye or something, and it just causes someone to go blind because there's no treatment. There's no way for them to nip it in the bud.
I have one boy in dental school,
Really?
And we have in the Sunshine Home a young man in medical school. Praise God.
That's great.
As long as he's got funding, I don't know. I'm hoping his funding is okay this year. I haven't heard. It's always a challenge getting the funding.
Two branch, one is for lady, one for men, about 100 person together, no? Because, but then you said there was 2,000 child for Christmas. So where they come all this child?
Yeah, we serve children from the poorest of the poor areas, and Bishop and Sister Doris, I believe it's mostly their pastors and people they know, and they rent the buses and they arrange with the groups from the. They actually come usually from the churches. The children know where to go to get their tags so they can go to the party, and particularly like I say, City Soleil and the very poor areas, the children that would not otherwise have a Christmas. And then when they finish with the parties, usually we'll do, 4 or 5 parties when we're there. And then they still have much, and then after that, Bishop and Sister Doris in that big blue bus, they go to the mountains. And they're actually from Choate.
So there's actually, so just to clarify, there's an orphanage or orphanages, and then every year, like as Kathy says, we have a Christmas program that does between 10 to 15,000 children. So those 2,000 children that you saw was one of the parties that we have every year. We have about 4 or 5 of them, and those are for the whole community, for the whole everyone that we can get to come, that we can find a place to fit all these children. But they don't, even in those parties, we don't even include the orphanage children because it's really for other kids. Yeah.
Catholic Church communicate with you, collaborate with you. You have any connection with the effort the Catholic Church wants to be doing in Haiti?
The Boys Home Convention Center is run by the Catholic Church, and quite often at Christmas we do a Christmas party there. That's, I think, about it, huh?
The answer is the Catholic Church is there. It does have its own programs, but it doesn't have, like, the Protestant church, and whether it's in the States or in Canada, they're more active in doing missionary work. So that's why you'll see more of them getting more involved. But the Catholic Church does have its own program. They do run local orphanages, local detention centers. They're very involved. But because most of our volunteers are Protestant, that's why we see most of them there. But the Catholics are very involved. Yes, the volunteers are not only churches. So especially, so let's say we have social groups that come down and say, like I'm going to go, like CERT, or let's say I'm going to say a group from Key Biscayne, a social group from Key Biscayne says, we're going to organize a team to go down, and then we'll find out, like, if there's a group of 10 people who say they want to come to Haiti, we'll have a little meeting to understand what you want to do. Some people just want to study. Some people say, I know how to. I was a teacher for a career, and I would like to see if I can teach something. And then you come down, and we'll put you to work. It will be a life changer. So she was talking about Tom Volini, a gentleman who was helping with the garden. He was a guy from Chicago who came down on a trip to build, and then he saw me and he said, "Johnny, I'm retired and I want to be busy for the rest of my life." He's like 72 years old, I think. 72 this year. He's 72, and basically, he calls me every single day. What do you want me to do? What can I do? What can I do? And he's just very enthusiastic about doing something meaningful for somebody else. And so that's it's not just a church thing. He's not a church goer at all.
I want to make one last statement. And one thing that's always impressed me about Grace, I heard one of the announcers after the earthquake commenting on all the different groups that were going down to Haiti and doing work in Haiti, and they weren't Haitian, and so they have a problem understanding the culture and such. And he said it's really good when you can support an organization that's doing the work and is Haitian. Maybe there are other ones that are, but Grace is the only one that I know. And they've been doing it for 40 years. But we have an office here. Jerry Magala handles the office. And I left you my phone number also if you don't have a card. It's got my phone number on the back. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Praise God.